If your son or daughter is taking the PSLE math exam this year, then let's get to what we need to know about the exam topics, heuristics, exam format, and some useful tips. In this video, we highlight the important things a parent should know before their child sits for the PSLE math exam. Watch this video to the end if you want our tips on how you can guide your child to do better. If you didn't know by now, the PSLE math exam will cover 7 main topics. These 7 topics cover key concepts that were taught from middle primary until now. It's always a good idea to refresh your child's understanding of key concepts that were taught in primary 4 and 5. Math questions are like Lego bricks. Complex questions are often built on a foundation of these key or core concepts. Broadly, the 7 topics are numbers, ratios and percentages, measurements, geometry, algebra, statistics and lastly, rate and speed. Out of the 7 topics, numbers, measurements and geometry usually make up the most marks in the PSLE exam. Here's tip number 1. While practice papers cover a range of topics and are a common way to prepare for the exams, it is also important for your child to pursue topical revisions, to develop a good foundation of each topic before jumping to another topic. Having a good foundation in numbers, measurements and geometry will also be helpful for the exams. Moving on to heuristics. Heuristics, or problem-solving methods, are not specific to any one topic. A heuristic can cut across several topics. For example, model drawing can be applied to numbers, ratios and percentages, or measurements. The trick to doing well in the PSLE math exam is figuring out which is the better heuristic or method to use. Although different heuristics can be used to solve the same math question, choosing the right heuristic during the exam may allow your child to arrive at the correct answer faster and more accurately. To better understand heuristics, let's briefly talk about some of the common heuristics that your child should be familiar with before the exams. Supposition, or the assumption method, is mostly used for questions where 1 or 2 quantities are unknown and assumptions have to be made. Substitution and the replacement method is commonly used to solve questions involving 2 sets of variables. Model drawing is a great method for solving questions involving whole numbers, fractions and ratios. Guess and check is a method that was taught in middle primary, and it's probably the heuristic that your child is most familiar with. While it can be used to solve a variety of questions, we will always encourage our children to learn more. There are, of course, many other problem-solving methods that are taught in schools. Tip number 2. You can always check on your child's progress by asking them what heuristics or methods they have already learnt in school. The more methods they are familiar with, the more prepared your child will be for the PSLE exams. Do leave us a comment. We'd love to know which heuristics your child has already learnt in school. Next, let's discuss the actual exam format. The PSLE exam is made up of 2 papers, Paper 1 and Paper 2. Your child will be taking both of these papers on the same day. Paper 1 consists of 2 booklets, Booklet A and Booklet B. Booklet A has 15 multiple-choice questions, and Booklet B has 15 short answer questions. Students can't use calculators for Paper 1, so they will have to work out their answers carefully. Your child will have 60 minutes to complete Paper 1, and this makes up for 45% of the total marks. After a short break, students will proceed to Paper 2. Paper 2 is especially important for your child's overall grade. It is also the harder of the 2 papers. Paper 2 consists of 5 short answer questions and 12 long answer questions. Students can use calculators for this paper. Your child will have 90 minutes to complete paper 2, and this makes up for 55% of the total marks. Tip number 3. To do well for paper 2, your child must learn to present their workings logically and step by step. They must be able to reference their answers to the diagrams, use sketches, and label their workings clearly. Your child will stand a higher chance of getting full marks if they can clearly show their thinking along with the right answers. Tip number 4. You can actively help your child before the exams by encouraging them to improve their handwriting and manage their answers in the allocated space while doing homework and practice papers. Tip number 5. Please remember to change new batteries for your child's calculator before the exam, and check that your child is using an approved calculator for PSLE exams. Your child also needs to bring along a mathematical set. Do check that their mathematical set is complete. Lastly, PSLE exams doesn't need to be a stressful time for both parents and children. Positive language and affirmations can help build a child's confidence so that they can do better. We've reached the end of the video. Do leave us questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this. You've been watching Full Marks Math.